But that's fine. So like, yeah. But anyway, right. So ban list, guys.
Yeah.
What do you think? So got a few ideas together. So I'm going to start off with the first one on the list. Baby, the Unknown Parasite, Blue Unison. Who wants to chip in?
Me, I'll go. It needs gone. It's far too strong. Like, you've got to think, like, the advantage it gives Soul Striker being an uptick, +2, draw a card, swing with leader, draw, untap 2, it's nuts. But then I think it married with the Spirit Boost skills that are coming out, a free cost Unison is going to be one of the most important in the game, especially a one with an uptick 2. And you'll be able to abuse it far too often.
Yeah, like Spirit Boost being used against that, you've got people don't think like the down tick is going to become less prevalent unless you've got loads of unless you get loads of markers on it, and it's going to be like, oh, look at this resource pool I've got to spend for additional skills. It's going to be like ridiculous. So like turn 3, you've got 5, and then the energy reopen. Obviously, that's paired with Soul Striker, but any other deck that's got blue, you're still opening everything out. On top of it, also still, as long as you've got 2 markers, you've still got God Sealing.
Exactly.
So
easy access to God Sealing, and it's down tick. Like I don't ever think that 5-drop baby counter as a problem, but you mix that with a free play baby counter that the Trunks Unison can give you, and also you lead a 10k double strike is like fucking insane.
Exactly. Plus,
yeah.
The plus if it's in Soul Striker, plus the draw 2, untap 2 per turn is just stupid.
Yeah.
Because if you do it that way, essentially on your awaken turn, you draw 4. Draw 4 and tap 2 on awaken. Yeah. And I mean, we've all played games, and like Soul Striker is one of my favorite decks. And like against some people, like when you play a non-aggressive deck, I awaken on turn 3. I'm still on like 7 or 8 health, and then once I've got my defense up and I've got my handful of everything and my energy available, literally, I think Ryan, you played a game, or Sean, you played a game against us where I literally saw on 7 health for the entire game, and you couldn't do anything. So I was like, in the older build, I was like dropping Mecha Rops and everything. It was just like, baby sat there, and I was like, when I really want to push for a game, I'll down tick and then just be like, GG, here comes the baby counter if you try and do anything. Yeah. So it's all. But the thing is, I think at the same time, when people are running that card, it's very scripted. People don't know when things are going to happen. So it has got answers, but I wouldn't want in an aggro deck to spend 5 swings going into 1 unison when you're trying to kill the person. It's a bit bullshit. That
it's not even the fact of an aggro deck. It's more if you're a mid-range deck, you probably won't have 5 swings to try and get rid of that unison, and then you've just got to make the choice. Am I even going to attempt it, or am I just going to let him have it every turn?
Yeah.
And then work around it that way. But
yeah, so but I mean, it's fair to say that this is what we would like to see banned, rather than what like we think maybe the
Nick, you're on mute. I've seen you talking, and you're on mute.
Nick's opinion clearly doesn't matter in this, but yeah, I mean, like, Nick, do you want to tip anything different than what's been said in this?
Yeah, it's basically just with it having a +2, it's basically what you need. So if you're playing a mid-range deck, you just have to spend every resource.
It's not leaving the field.
And with the +2, there's just no point. By the time you spend all your swings trying to get rid of it, they're going to keep it alive, or they're just going to uptake it next turn. It's still going to be a problem the turn after when they got rid of whatever you've got on board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any of the 3 costs in it, really. Yeah. Like all of the 3 cost unisons that came out of blue, you just go, nah, just play Trunks.
Promo Rose Goku it's actually a really good unison, but do you want to play that, or do you want to play Baby? So, but yeah, like as I said before, like this obviously isn't like us saying this will be banned. This isn't the ban prediction. This is more like what we feel should be banned given the current state of the game. So it's not necessarily it's a ban prediction, but not like this is like deep analysis. This is just our personal feelings. But cool.
Yeah, so this is personal opinions. Like 2 days before the ban list actually drops.
Yeah,
before we get it in there just before it does, and let people see what they agree with or not.
Yeah, it might be 3 days after the ban list, depending on when we get it uploaded. But no, that's great. Right, moving on. If nobody's going to counter argue that, right, Blues.
Sean's face was like, "Nah, screw you. I want to keep it."
On Sean. I'm trying to be neutral because I love blue and I love that card, and I put a lot of money into getting those cards. But Sean, blue's like your boy, isn't it? Like you love like that card in Trunks, that card in Gohan.
I've literally every blue deck since it came out. I think I've had it's been in every blue deck because, like you're saying, it is just so powerful. But like you said, with the spirit boost, it is going to be stupid being able to do so many effects, getting so many markers, and just taking markers off isn't going to affect it. It's just going to constantly have a massive resource of counters in its way. So, like,
depending on what you've got, you essentially in one turn can if you based on a tick like a tap 3, tap 3, uptick 2, and then if you really want to, place 1 underneath.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we've lost Nick for the moment, but it's alright. We'll crack on.
If they didn't ban it, the only thing I can think of is changes uptick 2 to uptick 1. That's the only thing I can think of.
I think that would be reasonable for a 3-cost unison.
Yeah.
Make it enough.
Or maybe even just reduce its cost to like a 2 cost. So like tap 2, play, uptick 1, draw.
Yeah, maybe also for its down tick, like its 5 down tick. If you don't hit the uptick, the down tick should be like tap 2 energy and something. So at least there's an energy cost to it. So if it's not Soul Strike or something else, you have to choose, do I go for an alternative play and hope like I play into the baby Golden Avenger off it because I can't play into a boss card? Or, so there's got to be an active. And I think that one, they should do it where they just add like a cost to it as well, similar to what they did with the errata Golden Ape Unison before it even got released. So, yeah, but I mean, like, let's, that one, yeah. I know it's Sean's boyo, but, Next. Zeno Unison. King Cool's Achilles heel.
We'll let Tom take this one because he said he wanted it gone.
Well, I think you've just said everything that needs to be said, to be fair.
Yeah, literally.
It literally destroys one deck, which I kind of don't feel should be in the game.
Yeah. I mean, it is locked on
getting rid of it kills another deck, though. Like, it's a massive dual attack. It doesn't kill it, but it'll hinder that massively. Like I don't think it should be banned, but maybe like change the wording slightly so it's not all battle area stuff, just battle cards.
So battle cards unisons or something. Oh, battle cards, yeah.
Because hitting all them field cards in against King Cool, like King Cool isn't really a deck that can not always kill you before turn 5.
Yeah.
And obviously, all it takes for you is to play for 5 down take. King Cool's going to have a bad time.
What about 3 times?
Meeting in the middle of it? What about like a change to it? So, like instead of like banning it, what about if they change to a errata and think, okay, well, the down tick is all battle cards, ignoring barrier, and all field cards with a cost of 2 or less, and that way it doesn't hit the 6 drop and doesn't nuke the deck.
Yeah,
that could still work. To be fair,
that's just additional text. It's literally just an extra line of text.
Or even just all cards in all areas with under a cost of 5, so it still doesn't hit the actual thing.
No, because then it doesn't get rid of the big barrier boss cards that people are using it to get rid of. So I mean, it's options. It's options. But I mean, like me personally, I don't think it's bannable. But I can definitely see where if you've got like a hardcore King Cooled in like a fanboy of that King Cool deck playing, I can see anybody playing blue, they know that's coming out, especially from like a best of 3 format. That will fuck you game 2 if they're not already mainboarding it.
But we have
like you've seen possibly, some of the green cards, so
I think like an easier. Who's saying what?
Plus, with the the new extra cards that come out that remove markers, I don't think it'll be that much of a problem. You go game 2, they go Zeno. They win. You've won the first one. Game 3, you side them, and you should be fine.
Yeah, it's basically. I think Zeno in the next format will come down to the game 1 dice roll, and then basically who sides it more effectively. But again, it's still shit. Like down take 5, wipe your entire board. It's so.
It is, but I think the only way the simplest thing to do, because the unison outside of that doesn't seem to be a problem for anyone. Yeah. So the easiest solution is to put permanent on the 6-drop field card saying it can't be removed by skills.
Yeah, or do
unison,
that.
Unison doesn't touch it, and again, it gets rid of all the other little nuggets and all that type of stuff. But then that's their save.
I don't understand why it doesn't have it on the first place, because the Zamasu field card has it, and I don't think that's as essential as the King Cole field.
Is that the Tragedy Underground? The blue
one?
Yeah.
Oh, watch the space when them 2 big decks go. I'm telling you now. That fucking Zamasu is going to come right in.
Right, so
what's next?
Yeah, let's move on. So another unison on the list is everybody's favorite green Demigra unison 1-drop. I'm split. I'm split on this.
Doesn't need one.
Same. 50-50.
It's 50-50.
I think it should at least be a right to maybe once per turn, if a marker would be removed, take a life.
Yeah.
Turn 1, charismatic villain.
Any other 1-drop green unison. Then again, yeah. I think the only way they'll get people away from green unisons is by making decks that specifically have to use different unisons. King Cole is an example, is the perfect example, and I think James mentioned this last night. Like, you need a deck, and it's to use that deck, you have to use this unison, and the deck core will be so tight that you don't have the option of using that unison. So that's one way to do it. I think we're all probably just pissed that when we play against the rogues and the people in our community who know how to pilot a green deck really well, it does like fuck you. But again, that comes down to, like, you know, that person playing that one deck, the pilot. But I mean, the card itself is still strong. It's a 15k beater. Yes, it's 5k on defense, but it gives you access to, like, Frieza, and a lot of cards early game don't get played with barrier, so it's going to shut down a lot.
Awakening as well.
Yeah, and it's self-awakening. Like, you take the hits, and then, like, you go, okay, cool, now I'm ready to lose the card. So it's like you purely control the pace of when you take life with that card. So, and a lot of people will go because they're like, oh, I want to deal damage. It's 5k, and the person's like, that's fine. I'm going to take the life anyway. I just can't combo. So it does help, because James is saying you swing it like a can control player. You go for Demigra because they can't drop Ribrianne off it. There's no interaction. That's the only plus side, but it's debatable. I would like it to go, or be errated so that essentially it's a case of when it takes the damage. Sorry, when you take, instead of losing the marker, you just crit the life, like any other unison that does the same. But I know people don't like that, because green doesn't necessarily have a large draw engine, unless you King Cole. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Yeah.
With the new reveals, though, like the Boo deck in the Videl, like I think the band are on the right track for green. Like, mentioning that, like, it looks
super
like
fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for that Boo stuff, man.
Yeah. So, like, Demigra is one of those ones that, for everyone, I think it sits on the border of, people might want to see it banned. It doesn't need banned. It could do with an errata, but then how would you do it correctly? So it's like one of those, like, middle cards where it's sitting on that red line in the image that we've got. You know what I mean? So,
like, teetering.
Yeah, it's
no other 1 cost gives you the amount of value in pretty much any deck of Demigra. It's self-awakening. It opens you to turn 1, 2, and 3 counterflanks straight away for anything they're going to play, so it wrecks the rest of their turns. It can't be removed for 3 to 4 turns. Nothing else gives you that much value for 1 energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, it's not the counterplays that fuck me. It literally is the downtake on the Demigra that I hate. Like Eddie for an any Invoker lover, I know you can play around it, but like to have your Vegeta killed, I know you just like, well, don't play the Vegeta if you're playing against the green matchup and wait. But still, it's like you play out a barrier card for a reason, and then Demigra's like, nope. So it's like, oh, god damn it. But yeah, it's one of those cards where it's like, how do you I think if you were to fix it, you end up getting rid of it. Like it may as well be banned if you change it. So it's one of those ones where it's a bit of a weird one.
Right. What's next?
Right, so Koitsukai.
I'll start off by saying it's a necessary evil. I don't think it should go.
That's why Black
That's my input.
The only reason I'd say it needs to go, but I'm strongly in favour of it going, is it's basically a better version of Black Mass Saiyan that you can't interact with at all. And certain decks, like the Blue Bojack deck, if they play Koitsukai, your entire turn, the whole strategy of that deck is playing stuff on your opponent's turn when you combo with it. If you can't play anything on their turn, it's pretty much game over.
Yeah.
There's no way at all to interact with it, which is it's pretty much every card in the Blue Bojack deck apart from the 8-drop. Even the card, the 1-drop Goku, which is meant to get the Black Mass Saiyan, gets hit by this 20 KLS. To play anything at all and set up your board on their turn, which is what the whole deck strategy is, you have to ditch 2 cards.
Every time.
And for a deck that doesn't draw, it's actually insane. It murders the deck.
Would you benefit from, so like, let's say if because it's obviously on the fence here with a few people, if you didn't ban it, what could be done to balance it? What about, Nick, like a bit like, what happens if it was like, after you activate it, it's like the first time your opponent does it, so like it becomes like a lingering once per turn effect. So once it's been used, it's gone. Yeah. Yeah, so
I've never seen anyone play more than one of it a turn, so I don't think changing it to once per turn will make any difference at all. Because when you play it, turns enough to cripple your turn.
What about if you activate it and it's like or like the other cards where they've got the text now, and once you've activated this, negate the skill of this card and negate the skill on all copies of this card for the rest of the game.
Per game.
Yeah, if you just limit it to 1 per deck, then sure, that would make a big difference.
Yeah, if you're going to limit a card like that, you get rid of it. Like, because like there's not many people who like play more than 2 anyway, and you'll only ever really maybe see it once and activate it once in the whole game. And I would not waste the space on Koitsukai if it got limited to 1.
Yeah. So I mean, it makes sense. Like if you can't errata it properly, or if you do limit it, it may as well be banned because it's a pointless spot in the deck. If it's not searchable and you're not going to get efficiency from it, it's a placeholder.
Personally, I agree with what you said before, Paul, about making it the first time your opponent would play something on your turn.
Yeah.
What to?
Yeah, it would be. The only problem with that is it would become very difficult to word it so that it's like because it's not an auto. It activates like a lingering, so essentially it creates a permanent. I hope I'm getting this thought process right. It would create a permanent, but then a permanent, like you would have to have it so like the first time your opponent plays a battle card of 20,000 or less, that it triggers then, and then and that's it. So it's once, but I don't think there's any other rule or any other card text that works that way. So you'd have to like design a whole new set of words for that, and then that'll open up so many like oh my god, judge rulings on that, would it become like an absolute nightmare? I think so. It's difficult to do without breaking the text, but if they can do it, great. But either way, I'm personally I'm not bothered about Koitsukai because, as James said, it's a necessary evil. So
my argument on that though is if Black Mass Saiyan exists, you don't need Koitsukai because, like Nick said,
I think you do, though. Yeah.
Like Nick said, it's you can't react or you can't do anything to it once it's in your drop, and that you can activate it, but at least you can. It makes you the player make it deal with the Black Mass Saiyan. They deal with that first before you can do something.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going down the route that we went through with Zeno, which is, it literally destroys one deck. That's what Koitsukai does to Blue Bow deck. It literally destroys one deck.
KP.
It'll kill King Cold as well.
Yeah.
And Arrival.
And Arrivals for most of them, and yeah, it hits a lot. It hits a lot. So
it does hit a lot. But I'm always under the impression that like if you can't play around it, like it's like any sort of counter sort of card like that, that's sort of like a silver bullet, let's say. Obviously you have the means to do that. So like yeah, fair enough. Bojack it shuts down for a turn. If the deck can't deal with having that access to playing its cards for one turn, then the deck's not good.
Yeah.
And it's with KP, like KP shouldn't be able to die off just not being able to play, its blocker or something for that one turn.
Yeah.
Whereas, like with KP especially, like how annoying is it for you to be able to play that many cards, many barrier blocker minuses? If I can hinder that for one turn, so be it. It's a necessary evil.
If they activate it, you just don't do anything, and then you play everything offensively, and then wait another turn, and then deal with it with your negates.
It was a frustrating game against you yesterday, Sean. Me trying to play all my counters, and you're just going,
nope.
No. King Piccolo, just get rid of it. No,
yeah.
You're not building the board today.
Oh yeah, we'll get on to that, lad.
Yeah. So I think I understand James's ban request because you may as well ban it. I think though, if other players are sharing your opinion, what you could do safely is say limit it to one, and then it's your choice not to play it.
Possibly, yeah.
It's 6 and 2 3s, but if it's a ban idea, then that's what I've got it on here. Cool.
Yeah.
Any other comments for Koitsukai?
No.
All right, so this one's a controversial one. I've never thought of it.
It's the sole survivor of the U3 cards.
I know.
Koitsukai B.
Yeah. Oh.
I like that. Nah. We talked about that last night, man. It would be so broke.
Now in the next year, because there's loads of like really cheap free play black battle cards coming out at 5 cost. The new Zeno Shenron deck is going to be like play out really like high, a lot of extra cards. But then is it the Oceanus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so moving on, this one's going to be controversial. Vegeta's Final Flash.
I personally think it shouldn't be banned. I think it's quite fair.
I agree.
Yeah, it's.
Is that 2 yellow players?
Yeah, I mean, Tom, this is yours. So give us the rationale. Give us the rationale first.
I would say out of all of the 4 IER cards, it's like really overpowered. Like all Cell does is discard 1 from your hand. Frieza's Death Ball is negs. Like, it's just way too strong, especially that it ignores barrier as well.
Yeah, I mean, like if it was like on par with other things, then you should think like, well, the red needs to ignore barrier as well. Like, why does that not ignore barrier and yellow?
If it didn't hit barrier, it would be fine.
Yeah.
Yellow has effectively no ways to get rid of barrier. If they have barrier and you're playing yellow, you have hardly any ways of getting rid of anything they put.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be easier if it had like the power couple effect. Choose a keyword skill and negate it.
It becomes like a 1-drop God Strike. Like God Strike Beerus kind of effect.
Yeah, like power couple as well. Just tap 1, give it 15k plus, use a keyword skill, negate it.
I mean, I'm a yellow player as well, so I don't care either way. To be honest, like sometimes a lot of time I won't even play Vegeta's Final Flash unless it's a very specific play I want to make or I need to do something to survive. But other than that, most of the time, like I don't utilize this maybe as much as I should. But so I mean, like Tom, if you've had really bad experiences with it, and obviously clearly you have because you hate it, but
I
show me in your deck.
I played the Son Gohan, the Kid Icarus one, and it was just strong, way too strong.
Yeah, you feel safe behind it, don't you?
Yeah, like yellow has too many counter players that they don't really need hit barrier.
Because they can just hit your energy, so you can't play anything. So they don't really need to get rid of the cards.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see. Obviously, we've seen the releases for the next set now. Although I haven't read into them much, the question is, will Vegeta's Final Flash end up just being power crept out by something else that's going to have more utility? Depending on what happens with the Mecha Frieza leader, which will come on to later. Like, is Vegeta's Final Flash likely to remain an issue going into the next set? That would be the question for me.
It's like yellow. It's like it's kind of like yellow's like brainwashed and stuff in it. Like red has a lot of minusy power and stuff. Blue just has its negates and it's ridiculous combo power sometimes, and like bean and all that type of stuff. And fair enough. I think Cell probably is the weakest one because a lot even the hand control decks aren't playing Cell, so it's not much of a problem. Whereas I think yellow's in a nice spot for it because outside of Mecha, I don't see many decks play more than 2 Final Flashes. That sort of safety net, which I think is fine. But Mecha is the problem, but the one that brings it to people's attention. The same reason, like obviously Bean as well, which I think we're going to go on in a bit. Bean isn't an issue until Mecha abused for them.
Yeah,
and then it gets people's attention. You're like, crap.
Yeah. But spoiler, Bean's not on this list. It doesn't need hit. It doesn't need hit.
No,
the card that abuses it needs hit. That's the way we should be saying it. But anyway, so like King Vegeta's, I think that one's quite a. I don't know how I feel with that one, but Tom feels strongly it should be banned, so it's on the list. Right, guys. Next one we've got a really hard to get draft box card, but King Piccolo, the new ruler. Fucking burn it with fire. Burn it. Like, there's too many strong free play double strikes. There's already too many, and then when you give red that, it doesn't even need, like, for example, people would say, oh, well, what about, like, Tau, which you can free play? Tau gains crit for the turn, and you still have to have 3 non-token battle cards on field. Like, new ruler, you just need a red unison with 2 markers or a specified cost, if anyone wants to correct us.
I think it's 3 markers. 3 markers.
3 markers. So you uptake, play, good game. Like, and it's a target then to go like swing. Then you can play like the 4 cost on top. If you play that in King Piccolo, give something else 20k, and then set up your entire play to sacrifice cards into your big 6 drop if that's the turn you want to go on. So like, it's just like it's just busted. I think personally.
Yeah, exactly. Like for costing you nothing as well. Like the fact it gains 5k, so it's a permanent that gives it the 5k, so it gets from BMS, and then it's 20k double strike that can't be blocked. So you either head on facing it, or you've got to waste a negate, which is exactly what you said. If you make them waste a negate, and you're like, well, my plan all along was to do man on a mission and get that through anyway. For no energy, you've got 2 double strikes on the for null. For like it's just insane.
Yeah, I mean, even if you
it goes at the end of the turn, but like that's not enough to justify why it should stay.
Yeah. As well as the Goku GT stuff as well. That's a few of that's blocker heavy.
Yeah, so Yeah, I would say it's a bit of a if it does get banned, it does need banned. But if it does get banned, it's also a shit move by I was nearly said Blizzard, wrong company, Bandai, because they completely fucked people over with Draft Box 6. Giant Force, the packs were mapped, the pull rates were terrible. I think our community opened 10. Oh, there goes James.
I'm still here. Just the camera was being funny.
Like we opened like 10 to 12, maybe 13 draft box 6, and we pulled one new ruler. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, Corey opened 6 himself or something from a different supplier, which he ordered. And he did get a play set, but like after that play set, like Corey's the exception of the rule. We got 1 in 13 boxes. It's like it goes back to the days of, do you remember when we opened like 20, 30 boxes of Draft Box 4, and like literally one Raiders Warcry got pulled. It's like, what? There's no point in doing that, and to make it so powerful, and then to ban it, it needs banned. But I think it's poor game design or poor distribution tactics on Bandai's part.
I mean, that's
sorry to slate them, but
they now realise that draft boxes are a stupid idea, and they've stopped doing them.
Yeah.
Reasons like that. So I don't think the rationale of it's a hard to get card should make a difference. No. Especially if they've gone back and kind of fixed the distribution method of giving the card out. Like by that logic, most of the TPs, which a lot of people just can't get hold of, shouldn't ever be banned, which I don't think is true either. But yeah, the scarcity to get a card shouldn't impact whether it needs to be banned or not.
No, not at all. I think mine was a separate point on just sort of like it's shady to be banning it after you've pushed people in a position where it's going to cost so much, knowing that people have to go to secondary market. But again, that's a completely separate discussion. It hits promos as well. But anyway, that's not the point. But yeah, new ruler. Yeah, if new ruler was locked to King Piccolo, fair enough. Yeah, like I mean, if new ruler was for me, if new ruler was locked to King Piccolo and limited, semi-limited, fair enough, it can still be searched, but one of it's still a bit more bearable. But the fact that you can splash this into any red deck or any deck running a red unison, it's like, how we mate, like, yeah, it's too generic, and it's at 5k. Like you can combo off if it's useless. It's just too strong. So yeah, Bennett.
Can I have a counter argument?
No.
Go for it.
Yes, go on then.
It doesn't have deflect. It doesn't have barrier. You can only do it once per turn. Like James says with the Koitsukai, if you can't deal with one card, it's nah.
In Piccolo, though, it's not just the one card; it's the amount of other stuff they do on that turn. Then just play that to end it as well. Like if you have if you have the resource on board with red, which isn't hard to do, you can get an Overrealm, a Tau, all the other attacks they've got on board, and then a King Piccolo and a Leader Swing. Yeah, it's just way too much to deal with. Yeah,
if they're wanting to stay away from the sort of free play stuff and the easy access to free play, then that I think if they wanted to spearhead it with that card and ban it and go, right, we've made a mistake with this card, I'm all for it.
And you can only play it by that effect once per turn.
Yep. The Piccolo. Oh yeah, but like, I don't know if you've ever played it, but like I played it in KV, and like regardless of it being stupid in King Piccolo, it is even stupider in King Vegeta. Like being able to like get your opponent's life by just playing the young invaders by critting them down, and then turn 2 in your Piccolo unison, uptick, and there's your 3 markers. Your opponent has next to no defenses because they've used their energy to do what they need to do on their turn. And then you just, like I did it with Kashi, I slapped down that Piccolo unison and got him from 5 to 3 for no energy investment. For literally nothing at all.
One of the main reasons I'm protecting it is because 1, it's my main deck, and 2, I have a playset. I don't want it banned.
It's also the fact that you can't block it though. Like if you can't get round it by counterplay or anything, it's a 20k double straight that can't be blocked.
Yep.
No.
It's as I said, Sean, I would completely justify it if it was just in King Piccolo, because King Piccolo sort of like, we can deal with it. Koitsukai, we've just literally said that's the counter, one of the counters to it. But I think the fact is it can be splashed into any red deck running unisons. That's not cool. I think that's what the problem is.
You know, like charismatic hits it, God Sealing hits it.
Yeah, but it's the fact that like yeah, all of them things hit it, but it's the fact that you've invested nothing into it.
Yeah.
And if it baits one of your counter players, great.
Yeah.
I've still got 3 energy open, or whatever energy you've got to then go and do something even stupider.
If you bait us with that, so like you God Sealing that, you get it back in the hand. Cool, I know you've got it for next turn. You then, just as you said, you go into Man on a Mission or something like that, and then start swinging for fucking 20 double strike crit. And you've just used your counterplay, and as James said, you're playing that at a strategic point where you know your opponent has minimal resources, whether that be energy or hand. So you're playing it when you're in the best position to play it, and with aggro decks like King Piccolo, it's easy to get people in that position. Yeah. But again, like, I know people aren't going to agree with all these cards, and so be it. Like, everyone's different; they'll have different opinions. And I know King Piccolo's your boy, so
yeah, fully stands.
Yeah. All right. So, everyone happy to crack on with the next one?
Yep. Go ahead. Yep.
Cool. So 3 drops Son Goku, Absolute Annihilation. It's the yellow battle card that a lot of a lot of Frieza, Mecha Frieza players are playing at the minute. But there we go. Cheers, Sean.
Yeah, I just need to say it needs to be banned. Deflect, barrier, you can't draw except for leader swing. There's not, unless you can get around it with the barrier. You can't counteract it by counterplay. You can't interact it unless you can get around the barrier.
Are you talking about
Final Flash?
Yes.
Final Flash is the exception.
So right, just checking.
Well, that's the thing, though. You would still have to pay the extra energy to even Final Flash it.
Even that part of it.
Yeah. So 2 seconds, guys. So Ryan, you can draw it. This is the one where obviously you tap an extra energy to play to activate any spell card.
You're getting mixed
up.
Cards.
You're right.
You're thinking of the Lord Slug.
Yeah,
but still the same reason. Barrier, deflect, stupidly strong permanent, and in a deck that has so much free play. Again, I think it's become broken because of Mecha, but it's still too strong a card on its own. Anybody? Well, you tap 3 for it anyway in Mecha, so what's the difference? I mean, Nick, you're probably the biggest yellow player outside of a Mecha Frieza build. What would your thoughts be on Annihilation?
I mean, I've never ran this in any variation of any of the yellow decks that I've done. The only way I'd ever play it is if I was going against something which literally spits out extra cards, like the new Black Shadow Dragon stuff. And even then, it wouldn't be a main deck; it'd be a side deck option anyway. It's because it costs 3 and there's no real way to cheat it out that I'm aware of. There may be, but I don't think there is. You're basically sinking your entire turn into hurting them for a bit. And it's not going to stop them completely by any means. They're still going to, if they're going to activate the card, especially in the Black Shenron stuff, which they play for free, it just means that they're tapping 1. I get in Mecha, it's very strong, as is every other yellow card. I just don't think I don't think it's worth banning, because I don't think it hurts too much. And for the amount of resources you have to pay to get it on board, I don't think it's that unfair of a trade-off.
Yeah. Well, imagine if Shigesh... Sorry, go on, Sean.
I'm saying the other thing with that, though, is in the next set, the SS4 yellow Goku leader, I think he's like searchable, and you can potentially play cards off the top of your deck for certain energy. So you never know, it might be a way of cheating him out in the next set.
I think the only way you can, from what I remember reading of the new yellow reveals, you can only play the cards that are revealed if they have the auto on them. Let's say they get played.
So the leader allows you to reveal, and then the auto kicks in to say, now you can play it, No, I was going to say, remember the old Shigesh Super combo? Imagine if that was still about. My God, this would be getting played left, right, and center, wouldn't it?
I think Annihilation needs banned, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He's also the Invoker
not
player.
like it's a what player?
The Invoker player.
It completely screws Invoker.
Yeah, but like it screws Invoker, King Cold. Like there's so many like extra cards, but even just the generic sort of like free play negates, let's say, that are like kind of like quite crucial to a lot of strategies. It hurts that. Red especially, like red likes to use its energy quite efficiently and often. They can't just like no deck once that's there can sit on one energy and safely do anything. But then you're speaking like it's not played outside of Mecha. You got to think if Mecha goes, Aegis Bojack is still a thing.
It's still a really strong call, yeah.
And there's no mono yellow decks. It's all Aegis Bojack. So if I have to tap 3 for that Aegis and be tapped out, you know for a fact I'm going to get 2 energy back.
Yeah.
So that I'm just like you're not tapping out. So it's never going to be like a stupid play to tap 3 for it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and we all know
it's going to stick there.
And we all know that monocolor block is sort of becoming multicolor block again. So there's going to be abuse of cards that outside of blue give you energy manipulation and make this card super defendable. So yeah, I think if nobody here says like they want to keep it and it's a side option at the best for people outside of Mecha, then yeah, like ban it because I can't see any reason to keep it.
Yeah.
I mean that I'm just playing devil's advocate and just playing the middle ground there, but
I was gonna say that was a quick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a fun one. So James, you can give us the rundown on this one. So Rebirth of Justice, old school blue extra card. That yeah, I can see why, and I know your gripes with this one. Do you want to go over them?
Yeah, I just reckon that since that card got rediscovered, let's say, with obviously the 5-drop Frieza, I don't think every blue deck ever should have a mill strategy to it, and it's just insane. Like outside of it, it kind of solely put Blue Baby sort of back in the game. Because Blue Baby struggled to always do anything other than just counter, just do its counter thing. And then I think was it Marcus Cantarsi, I think he's called. I think he put it in his blue build. All of a sudden, guess what every blue deck has in their deck? Rebirth and Frieza, because it's a board wipe for blue, which again they've always struggled with. And it's a mill strategy. Android 18 is a fucking mill deck.
Strategy with it's ridiculous. It's absolutely it's insane.
Yeah,
and the cards that stop you from now swinging with the tokens means they're literally just sitting there, uninteractable, can't be moved, and then it's like, oh yeah, you've got how many 20 tokens? Cool, Frieza, mill 40.
Yeah, and it's blue. Charismatics are probably the second best counter in the game, compared to Guard Sealing, and you can't even charismatic villain the card the Frieza, because I'll just Guard Sealing it back to hand and then it sticks on board. Yellow, no one really plays the Vegeta, let's be honest. Yamcha, if you minus the Frieza 15k, cool, it's still there. Yeah, and if the Guard Seal it, the thing with Rebirth is that it gives you the 2 counter windows. I activate it. Do you want a Guard Seal? Because if you want to, you're going to have to do it now. Okay, I'll Guard Sealing. Okay, I'll play this other card with Deflecting.
Yeah.
It's not.
There's a lot of cards and a lot of gives access to.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget that it bounces a card back as well. So if you've hatched me this on your turn or whatever, I can just Rebirth and bounce your hatch back and then it's gone for the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Remove from the game. Yeah, exactly. So, and I mean, it's not even just a mill strategy. I know it's probably a lesser used card, but it's still quite. I can tell you now, it kills Dark Broly, but the 7-drop hit that gets reduced, and so in a deck that maintains a blue board, you play that out at a reduction at 5 cost, and it's cool. I'm going to flip your leader. It's still 30k triple strike. I'm going to flip your leader. It can't reawaken, wish, flip anything until the end of your next turn.
Yeah. So against Dark Broly, I'd say that was perfect for all your 0 cost combo cards for nothing.
Yeah, and you don't have counter plays against it in black, so...
Yeah.
It's mental. Yeah.
And then Android 21 as well. Like if you can pressure them down to 1 life and then just rebirth 21 onto the field, you've won.
Yeah, crit them straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like, obviously it got a card, like obviously it's been around for a while, but I think if they want to, does it fall into that category of limiting any 5-drop blue card that can just be instantly free played with that? Because the Frieza is genuinely not the problem. Because obviously, I think we talked about this last night, and you said, yeah, it would kill the entire swap chain. So don't get rid of it. Just rebirth needs gone.
Yeah, and like even as you said, even if you ratted it to mono blue, there's not that many good mono blue 5 costs. So if it's pointless to errata it, then just get rid of it. That's if you errated it to mono blue card, then it wouldn't get played. Yeah.
Like it was never played before that, so it would go back to never being played and just take up space on the errata list.
The only target the best target to play is Golden Avenger.
Yeah,
that's literally the only card that'd be worth playing. It's exactly like you said. It was a forgotten card until somebody found it with Frieza. It's exactly the same reason. Like it should be banned. The same reason. The Zeno button. That was nobody played that until
Ram Shenron.
Oh, and Ram Shenron.
Well, it was yellow Broly
before Surge.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing is, you don't want to limit players' ingenuity because it was a really, really clever way of doing it. But it's done its stint in the meta. Like it's brought that rogue aspect back that really is like people didn't expect. But now that people are on it, it's starting to get abused. But it's in blue, so or anything that runs blue, to be honest, isn't it? So I
think it's only like 2 specified blue or something like that.
All cost 2 specified blue. Yeah. You don't. It's not leader locked either. So cool. That's an interesting one. So interested to see what people want to post about that one in the comments. But right, next one, 5-drop Overwhelm, Demon God Demigra, the power or True Power Unleashed. It is a staple in pretty much every black deck. Why play any other? I'm going
to go for a drink, so I'm just going to leave it and just say I think it's fine. But I'll be back in a minute.
Sorry.
I was going to say this was Tom's pick, wasn't it?
It was Nick's, I think.
Oh, nice. I think the fact like it stays on the field and every time you swing, you warp a card, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like yes, I can see both sides of it. Like yes, it is like it's a really good card, but it's easy to deal with. Like it hasn't got deflect, it hasn't got barrier. It's like yes, it's strong, but that's why it hasn't got those effects because it's that strong. I would say so. I personally think it's fine.
If it had unique, I think it'd be easier to deal with because you can only have one on board, so you just don't touch it, or you just try and get rid of it, like keep it in rest mode. With, I don't know, push a ball, any counterplay that just stops it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say unique. I would just say when it attacks warp a card, just needs the limit 1 skill. So you can only use it on one copy of that card per turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the only bad bit of the card, really. Like, warping a battle card and you get a draw when you play it for 2 energy. Isn't that strong? I mean,
what about just giving it unique?
Yeah, that's what Ryan just said. Like,
sorry, man. That's my follows miles away. Yeah, Unique would fix it because. Yeah.
Well, then a lot of the time you kind of want them to tap 2 energy and try and play it because you can't counter it. So
Yeah.
I've seen some of the black deck, like Vegeks. If you've got a build where they're not bothered about milling out and they're going for a bigger board, I've seen players with multiple M on board and they play them. They swing. Obviously, they're not the same turn because they won't have the stock and like the stock drop. But 5 is not that hard to get. There are so many cards that will give you 5 very quickly. I think Unique would fix it because don't give up deflect. Like Tom was saying, like it can be God sealing, and you still tap 2. You still have to overrun and warp. Bounce it back to hand. Cool. Next turn. If you do get it out, you can have one on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even at one on the field, though, obviously I've missed the conversation. Is it even that bad outside of Dark Broly?
I think it's becoming a staple in a lot of black decks.
Yeah,
at least
but
a lot
like,
of builds, yeah.
Doesn't black not need them sort of cards though?
They do, but I'm saying is the problem is like when they start to get like some people get multiple on the field, and it's like swing warp.
It's a debatable one.
It's a debatable one. I can see why people don't want it banned because it's a necessary evil, but it needs to be paced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's a genuinely quite balanced card in a sense. Like
I said, yes, it's powerful, but it's very manageable.
If you're letting your opponent get 2 on the field, then who's the fool?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's like, but you can potentially get 2 out on board on 2 if you like in certain decks like Supreme Kai time, because it overrun, warp everything, use Kai, put 2 back, Demigra unison, put another one back, and then if you swing, you can just go like the gravy that puts another 2 back.
Yeah, number 2.
Yeah. What about this?
Yeah.
You overwhelm. You have energy open next turn. You on the defense use an extinction attack.
Yeah.
Extinction goes to drop. And what was it? Is it mill 3? Mill up to 3 or mill up to 4? 5?
4.
So there's your 5. You don't have to drop anything. You defend, they go, okay, can't do much else. Pass. You've got your 5. You haven't spent anything else.
Yeah.
I think it might. Depend on how...
Plus, it is a 30k single strike, though. Like, yeah, it makes you warp a card, but it gives you the life back. Like, obviously, yeah, like, it's not like... I think, like, the judgment on Demigra sort of... It is clouded by Dark Broly a little bit. Because it does abuse it, and the fact Dark Broly can just obviously play 2 in a deck and then reoccur them, 2 adds them back, blah, blah, blah. You can do all the mad shit with it. But yeah, I think outside of Dark Broly, like, you never really see it, like, consistently do anything else. Which obviously might change once, obviously, people figure out what other black decks coming out. But I guess it just depends on, black decks that are relevant.
You could say wait one more set, see how broken it gets. But in the meantime, if anything was done to it, I still think Unique would probably just be like a safe middle ground.
Yeah. Unique or like Thomas said, limit 1.
Yeah. Right.
Cool. All right. So
you got with the Demigra argument always sort of reminds us of like what Warcry was a thing. People were calling for that to be banned when everyone was like, tap 2 comes into play, double strike, draw a card, rest something. That's broke as shit. However, not really.
Yeah. I think, again, Demigra is one of those cards where it depends on what colour you're playing against at the moment. Blue, goodbye. It goes. Green, yeah, you warp my card. Cool, I'm still going to pop it. Yellow, rest it. You still get all your effects, and it's on the field if it's Dark Overwhelm. Red, you're not going to negate 50 and 30k.
Yeah, Red's doing jack shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
With Dark Broly. That's the key part.
Yeah. I mean, let's see how that one goes. I think, and again, it's not I'm not controlling this opinion. I think it's one of those borderline ones where it could have the potential to be banned if it gets abused, but at the moment, a unique or something just to stop it getting played multiple times.
If it did get banned, I don't think I'd miss it. Like, do you know what I mean?
So there's other cards, yeah.
Hey, you would.
No worries.
But yeah, I definitely don't think. But I'd just be like, right, okay, I understand to a point. I wouldn't miss it.
Cool, man. We've lost Nick. He's internet's down, but obviously he'll come back and join us when he can. But right, next card, guys. It's the another Overrealm. It's the SS4 Bardock fighting against Fate. It's the 25k dual attacker. I think Tom put this one on.
Yeah, it's like an extra edition.
It's strong, but I don't think it's that much of a problem. I mean, it hasn't got the it doesn't have barrier.
It's been used as a heavy game finisher.
Yeah, it's easy to deal with.
Which is what like Overrealm was originally sort of there.
Exactly, yeah. It's the extended play.
But I guess the Overrealms that used to do was like Mirror Double Strike, which you have to invest two energy in. This is essentially free Overrealm 6, 25k dual attack. Where if you put your opponent on 1 life, it's pretty strong.
It's a double lethal swing, yeah. But again,
a lot of stuff has answers. Well, not answers, but let's say like you can slow that down, or like Violent Rays can go where you're not even swing with it. Yellow can be like
rested.
Obviously, it just has like resting and Nimbus and all that type of stuff, and you've got like red has the minus and stuff. Like 25k isn't too strong for like King, like let's say King Vegeta, just to be like one Frieza's Death Ball, basically it's dead.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it is ridiculously strong. It is becoming one of those like the staple Overrealm card in many decks. I don't think it's too bad. Like I personally don't really mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, here we go. Yes, this 200k double strike.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because like, it's an answerable one, but I can see how as a finisher, it's like, it's super free. It goes back to some of the arguments about New Ruler. It's there to strategically push out another free card to either bait your opponent to do something, or if they don't, cool, 25k dual attack. So, and I mean, it's it's personal preference. Tom thinks it should be banned. I can see it's very, very strong. Everyone agrees it's a very strong card, but it's situationally strong because it's there to push that last life. But that's what Overrealms are for. But it doesn't matter because, like,
Tom's only saying that because he got the winner for £3.
Man.
It doesn't matter to him.
It doesn't get banned.
Yeah, man.
He wants to go ban so you can get them all for £3 and then be like, nah, unban that. Like,
right, I'm going to move on. And again, I think this next one's going to be controversial. But Charlie, your choice. This is the last battle card on the ban wish list. Is the good old blue secret Baby Hatchak.
Just before we get into it, is anyone else's view on Ryan's camera froze? Because he looks like a drunk Jesus right now on my screen.
No, he's just sitting very still.
That Buddy Christ, isn't it? Like.
Brilliant. Yeah. So what I would say to you then, Charlie, is if you want to ban it, are you saying it should be banned regardless of what potentially could be errated on it, or do you feel that there is a halfway house that we could meet to say, okay, but this would be acceptable? So, right. Yeah. So,
do you not think, like, as a secret rare though, it is a one of? I know, like, obviously when we play against Kashi, he's the only guy I've ever known to always open it and open like top 6 or whatever. But like, yeah. But like, do you not reckon like a secret rare should have that kind of power? Like, another turn.
So.
Yeah.
Victory strike.
So I think this is. I know people will end up saying, like, Paul, you probably have an opinion about Selzeno, and honestly don't anymore. But like, this is the one card I would outright say no, because it is the only card that keeps blue competitive at the moment.
Yeah.
If they didn't have Baby Hatchak, they would have to make sure they have a handful of negates for an aggro deck. Yeah, it extends, but that's the entire point. The thing is, this isn't a secret that comes out and has Victory Strike. This isn't something that comes out and has even dual attack or double strike. It's a 40k swing that shuts down your attack. But for decks that don't attack, hand control stalls. Other decks stall. Against Invoker, it doesn't matter because I'm going to fucking burn you anyway. Like, Hatchak will stop the aggro plays, but realistically, a good blue player has to be very careful when they play Hatchak, because they shut down one turn, and then if they don't kill you next turn, they are wide open because they have then tried to push you. They've tapped out. They've got a handful of little negates, but you've probably got some really heavy hitters ready. Yeah. So Hatchak is it allows for sloppy play, but it's only efficient when you've got a good pilot knowing when to play it. That's personally my opinion. And I don't think it needs banned, because it literally, if you remove that, I'm sorry, Blue's going to see no play again. Blue will go back to meme decks, and Soul Strike will be mediocre, even though it's strong itself. But I just don't think it does.
It's the fact that the hatch can only be used once, because as soon as it leaves the field, it's gone. You can't recycle it. You can't get it back at all.
Yeah, but I mean, at the moment, there's no other good secret.
Swing for 2 turns.
Yeah. Unless you do start running Sin, because I think Sin's at least got a little bit of ball control. I don't know. At the moment, in my blue deck, I would play no other secret than Baby, because there is no other good secret that actually would fill that space. But again, it doesn't mean it should be banned. It's just because Bandai hasn't brought out another decent blue secret. I mean, Super Pecan, like, they can go in the bin.
Yeah, it really can.
So
like, it's okay in Bojack, like that Pycon, but like the outside of that, nah, I don't see. I don't see why you would.
Look at the past blue secret rares. So you've
Vegeta died to death.
Goku Oob, Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta, Pycon, and it's like, it's about time they had. So it's about time. Blue
Yellow is the next most fun. The Power of Patara again.
I'd say the only other good blue secret would be the dual attack the dual color SS4 Vegeta.
Who?
Oh, yeah. About
the multicolor one.
Yeah.
But if you're running a mono blue deck, you can't play it. So we're saying like this is a mono blue archetype. It's like Hatchak's the only thing that keeps the deck alive.
Yeah, Hatch is definitely the best mono blue by far.
Yeah. But to be fair, I would much rather have a blue have a defensive secret, i.e. Hatch, than a fucking offensive one.
Yeah.
Like, imagine Hatch did that. You know how Sin, like the new yellow-black one, kind of can do the same as Hatch. It can shut down a turn by resting all your stuff. Imagine Hatch also had activate main 4 gains double strike or dual attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Sin can kind of do the same as Hatch, obviously not to the same degree, but it can do. I was like, if blue keeps that Hatch secret, then I'm happy for it to keep it defensive wise. And speaking of like the sloppy players that blue players make, if they do a sloppy play, then you know it's coming. Yeah. So you don't invest any energy. You swing with your leader. You get your draw. If they hatch, great. I've got my energy open to deal with your next turn. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's scripted.
It's scripted. Very scripted. Yeah.
It takes an experienced blue player to break that script. To go, I'm not going to play it now because I know they're baiting it.
Yeah.
That's essentially it. So, yeah, I mean, fair enough. So that's all of the cards. Welcome back, Nick, mate. We just covered Baby Hatchak. You got any thoughts? Because we're saying that I can see a lot of people hate it because of what it does, but when you compare it to the current game state, it probably doesn't need banned.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't think it does too much at all. I know a lot of people say any card in a card game that basically gives you an extra turn shouldn't exist, but I don't think this really does give you an extra turn. If you're on the back foot and want to, like, best case scenario, you drop it when they're building their board. Like, sure, that if you're going against blue, you should expect Baby Hatch to be coming out. And as James said, if you drop all your energy, fill a board, and then start swinging, then you're a fool. If you're on the back foot as a blue player and you drop it kind of before is optimal, then it's not going to save you much anyway. But if you do play it properly, even if you're that far behind, it's not going to save you in the long run. It stops their turn, sure, but you still got to deal with the rest of the stuff they put on the board. And
it'll save you that one turn.
They won't go into that turn.
No, like, to be honest, Nick, whatever you just said has literally recapped everything we've just agreed on there in that sense. So, yeah, but again, Charlie feels it's on this list because he's had bad experiences with it.
Yeah, because he's not a blue player.
Blue player, yeah.
He's an aggro smash face black player, and if you can't do that for a turn, ban it.
Right, guys. So, last three cards on the ban list, wish list they're all leaders. So, So first one, I think the first two I'm not going to go into too much because I think everyone's just in agreement. We'll probably all nod. Is Vegeks, the Unsung Fusion Hero. It's been dominating black. It's been dominating aggro. Like, either move it to best of one. No, sorry, to ban it from best of one. But even then, ban it from best of one, like the Gohan reboot. But even then, it's still dominating best of three in a lot of areas. It's still topping a lot. Not as much, but it's still dominant. Get rid of it. It's been abusing stuff since it came out. And I think the only reluctance to ban it is because it's a starter deck leader.
So my argument was any black leader other than Dark Broly, what's the point in playing them when Vegeks can do it better? They can mill 5, which sets you up overwhelm so quick.
Yeah,
there's no need to play any other leader. Like this, people have been playing like rogue kind of like SS4 Goku, and like there's even like the few people playing the Gogeta.
Yeah, even that random black mass Saiyan deck that came top 4 a while back.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Vegeks needs. Yeah, the spark in 20 is bullshit as well. Like, you could be playing like a mill deck and be like, right, cool, I'm going to play like, not the blue one because I've already agreed that Rebirth of Justice is a piece of shit. But like illegitimate, like cooler Janemba, it's like, oh, I'm going to mill you out, and the deck will just be like, oh, you're playing Janemba, okay, I'm not going to overwhelm, I'm going to leave it stocked, I'm going to awaken, and guess what? You're not going to beat us unless you start swinging at us. But I'm going to absolutely beast you.
It's the same with the new Sin Shenron deck as well.
Yeah. Any mill deck against Vegeks player, especially when I've played a mill deck, I've just went, okay, you're going to play all my battle cards for us. You're going to mill me, and you're going to make me play my battle cards.
So, I think everyone agrees.
It's had its time in the sun and all that type of jazz, and it just it's about time it goes. just get rid.
Yeah.
It was definitely a trial run, wasn't it? Like let's make a black deck that can't mill itself out. Like, you can tell the front. Let's see if it works, and yeah, it bloody works.
Oh, it works.
The fact that it survives 3 ban lists, it just shows that it is too strong.
Yeah. They've had to ban so many cards because of how good that leader is. Yeah.
It just shows the leader is the problem, not the cards.
Yeah.
Say the U3 stuff. As soon as Vegeks came out with the U3, they had to say no. The U3 with Vegeks is too strong. We're banning the U3s.
U3 literally it was such a cool mechanic. And because it got abused in that deck, they didn't even give it a chance to be like enjoyed in any other black deck or any other deck. It was just like, oh yeah, using this leader with it. No, this is going to abuse it. Get rid of it. No, ban the leader. Stop banning deck cores that like.
Not what Sandy did with Boo. When Sandy put it in Boo, do you not remember that? He was getting people down to 1 life while they only had 1 energy.
Yeah,
that was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's the only one I didn't mind, the pepperoni one, because like swapping a 2-drop for another 2-drop, like that's okay. Like obviously, like everything else is a bit nuts now, but hell yeah, bring back Turles.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We're not talking about cards that need to be brought back, guys. Come on, don't start that conversation.
It's
yeah. Right. Next one, I'm going to say its name. Everyone's going to nod and agree. And we're going to move on. Mecha Frieza, Resurrected Monarch. Yes.
Definitely.
It's dominated. It dominated this set. Yeah.
There's genuinely nothing you could do to errata that card and still not play it. Like, you've errated it so much it's unplayable, so you might as well ban it. Or if you do this whole like once per turn stuff, it genuinely doesn't matter. It will play exactly the same. So it's like it's too strong. I am a Mecha player. I've played it for fucking months. I even want it banned. I got to the point where it wasn't even fun to beat people with it because it was just I'm bored of this now. Like, yeah. I don't like feeling like that when I'm playing a deck. So just get rid.
Personally, I feel if Bandai don't ban it, it's going to make the next set pretty much pointless.
I play any of the yellow leader.
Yeah, it literally does make that a statement. So true. Why play any other yellow?
Yeah.
And on that point, we'll go to the next leader.
We'll go on to the next leader. So Nick, this one's yours. I know you don't like it. It's still pretty controversial, but Soul Striker Reborn.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't think it's anywhere near the strength, obviously, with Mecha Frieza and like Dark Roll and these other kind of staple leader colours are. But they banned a lot of stuff in the past under the kind of catch-all umbrella of it limits future game design, which is fine. It's a bit of a cop-out, but it's fine. The only reason I put Soul Striker up, I don't think it could be errata to a point where it would make me not have the issue with it. My biggest problem is there's not really a reason, unless you're playing a specific deck like Blue Baby. Pretty much every blue deck they've released so far, even the latest one, Blue Bojack, you can just slot the engine into Soul Striker and it works just as well, if not better. Like there is no real reason unless you're playing a specific leader with a specific engine, which is pretty much only Blue Baby. That's the only real blue deck you'd really do it with. There's no reason not to play Soul Striker as leader.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it and I understand it. Yeah.
Bojack, they're the 2 newest ones, and both of those just work amazingly well in Soul Striker. I'm sure
Xenogen Ember Skillet core as well.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same as when Yellow Broly was going round. It was like, I've got this amazing deck. Broly will do it better.
Every yellow Broly, yeah. Victor Strike, Broly.
Everything.
Yeah, put it in Yellow Broly, you might win a game. Like, it's yeah, it is daft. Like, I personally don't mind the leader, but I understand the point.
Yeah.
Bojack and Gohan both came out at the same time. In Soul Striker, there's both lists have a Gohan skillless engine version and a Bojack, like the rivalry stuff that it does.
Yeah.
Both of them just went, yeah, Soul Striker does this so much better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I get it, like, from a game design, it's like, why play any other blue leader, exactly like Nick was saying. I think the downside is, though, if you were to argue statistics and look at tops, like, it's not as dominant as any other leaders, like, in that category. And yeah, it's a strong blue, but it's not like... It maybe it's it's coming up as a rogue deck and beating some, but it's yeah. I mean, like me, I just love it. I love it. It's the first blue deck I've ever enjoyed playing properly. So I'm very biased with it.
Yeah, it's good in the sense that it's so versatile. Like I like the fact that you can be like pick an engine you like and like do it in blue. Like I do like that. But I think like on the top of like if you're looking at what like tops events and stuff, I think we'll have to disregard everything on that argument because it's Mecha and Dark Broly who's topping. That's pushing out so many decks. So I don't think that should be used as an argument because as soon as they're gone, fingers crossed. Who knows who's knocking on the door.
Yeah, there's a lot strong sitting waiting for those big hitters to move on. Like so. Yeah. So guys, that's we've got a bit of an errata list as well, don't we? So we'll go over that in a second. We probably won't spend as long on it. He's on the errata list.
Spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the ban list so far. So guys, obviously, if anybody watching the video, just comment, give us your thoughts on the ban list.
If anyone has made it this far through the video, what's up?
Yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for the support. Quickly going to cover some ideas for erratas. But again, your comments, your thoughts is really, really appreciated. So cracking on. So first for errata. Piccolo Jr., descendant of the King, unison. I think has everyone agreed in passing that really it should just be the errata to once per turn?
Yeah,
but you're biased.
Yeah, it really should.
Yeah,
once per turn. I think. Yeah, let's say Barshon. I think everybody agrees that. I think everybody in the community just agrees.